From Vancouver to Halifax, Flin Flon to Estevan, he's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, good morning, Canada. Canadian sports fans around the world, welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show, episode number 171 of Canada's only live morning sports talk shows coming your way. Out your smartphone, out your television, out your speakers.
Sure.
Everything. Hi. I am your host, Rod Pedersen. He is the co-host, Darren DuPont, and it is a very big day. Happy Wednesday, everybody. February the 5th. Isn't it cute that I have my Pats pullover on and you have your Blades shirt on? Oh, they must be playing tonight.
You would think.
Yeah, up in the phone booth.
Yeah.
Boy, we were saying that we've got a really big show today, and we do. Let me get this right out of the way. Nick Lewis is here, Hall of Famer in waiting, and I see he's introducing a Hall of Fame line of clothing. I want to talk to him about that. Plus he's smiling already. All the things that he's into. Some of the Magnificent Seven show topics refer to the CFL. Some of them refer to pro football, and I want to get Nick's take on that. Dave Naylor from the CFL on TSN, CFL Insider. Dave Naylor is going to be with us from Toronto. Former BC Lions head coach and Calgary Stampeders defensive coordinator Devon Claybrooks will be here, which I believe is his first interview since the end of the season when he was let go as head coach of the BC Lions. That's the truth, isn't it? I think it's his first interview right here today. And from the New York Islanders, Jordan Eberle will be joining us tonight from Long Island. He'll be joining us this morning. Last night, they beat the Dallas Stars in overtime 4-3, and Ebbs had a couple of apples in the game. Do they still call them that?
I think so.
Clark says, yep. You leave Chris Jones out of that. To the Magnificent Seven show topics. Are you ready?
Let's hit it.
Number one, if you're not happy for Chris Streveler, you don't have a heart. Am I right?
I'm with you.
So the talk this morning in the gym was, does he stick? That's what the guys were saying today in the locker room area was, will Chris Streveler stick with the Arizona Cardinals? Maybe that would be a good poll question, but I think we've come up with a better one. But you see the photos of him posing by what looked like a barn in Phoenix with the Cardinals logo on it. Did you see that photo? It was on his Instagram.
Yeah.
Chris Streveler is an Arizona Cardinal. The question is, well, not to say for how long would be rude. He just seems so happy. That's what makes me so happy for him.
Good. He should be happy.
Yeah.
Signed an NFL contract. Now it'll matter. I mean, the $100,000 signing bonus is a good indication that he's got a good chance of sticking. It'll matter about what kind of work he puts in the offseason if he's ready to go. Because they're signing him to be an athlete.
Well, there you go. One of the things I want to talk to Nick Lewis about is the future of Chris Streveler in Arizona, what he could expect. Now, that moves into point number two. Did the Winnipeg Blue Bombers make a mistake? Our friend Jason Fichter from the Rider Prider fan page was tweeting at us last night that the Bombers screwed up and that Zach Collaros is too oft injured and they should have kept Matt Nichols. Now, it's an impossible answer to come to on February the 5th. We're not going to know until summertime, fall, right? Whether the Bombers screwed up or not, but I'm interested in kicking that around. Number three of the Magnificent Seven show topics. The Oilers blanked in the desert last night. Now, I wasn't going to spend much time on that, but you came out with something we haven't done in far too long, and that is our top 10 cities for viewership.
Yeah.
This is the one cool thing about the Rod Pedersen Show, everybody, what we're doing on Facebook Live. We can see who's watching, and Edmonton has shot up to number 3 for viewership.
Yeah.
And you think you know why.
Well, I think it's your fandom of the Oilers. And it's funny. You've often said that hits on the website are never bigger than when the Riders are losing. So in that with that, sentiment, you would think that Calgary would be the highest viewed city.
Yep.
Based on the rivalry with Edmonton, and they hate coming back. Maybe your way, but no, it's been Edmonton. They love that you're back on the Oilers side.
Well, hey, listen, what I love about digital media now and where we are in 2020. It's about going to the marketplace. What have I said for years about traveling all over this province and visiting people in all these far-flung towns and speaking at their banquets? It works. And I go to Edmonton and visit with everybody at Rogers Place and go through the luxury suites. And, I got a show on Facebook. And, I'm going to have to tune it in. It works. It literally, this face-to-face works. So thank you, Edmonton. I don't know that they're that as engaged, though, right? They still don't write in, tweet in.
They're on viewership.
We're working on it.
We're working on them. Got to get them out of their shell.
Calgary, number 4, by the way, and Winnipeg, 5. Do we want the cities?
Go for it.
Nick, this is really interesting. Here's our top cities. I wrote it down. Where is it? Oh, where did I put it? This is very entertaining, isn't it? Here it is. Top cities for viewership. This is what's trending over the last couple weeks. 1 Regina, 2 Saskatoon, 3 Edmonton, 4 Calgary, 5 Winnipeg, 6 Montgomery, Alabama, 7 Prattville, Alabama, which, by the way, Derek Moncrief's down there, right? So not only was his family watching when he was on, they stayed watching.
And everybody else.
And I know quite a few other guys, football guys from Alabama that watch. So thank you. Number 8, Prince Albert. Number 9, Moose Jaw. And number 10, Las Vegas, Nevada.
They've been holding steady in the top 10, haven't they?
I don't know what it is. Well, I think I know what it is. It's the Golden Knights staff, whom I'm going to visit next week. So we're getting a little off track, but thank you. And it works to go out and visit people and promote your show. Free of charge advice. Number 4, will Alex Ovechkin catch the great one for the NHL's all-time goals lead? And that is our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. And this all came up in a like a dust storm, right? Because you were like, what?
Yeah.
In this morning meeting, you were kind of, because you've been doing your thing, you're really deep into the dub stuff and business stuff here. Ovi kind of has come out of nowhere. He had a hattie last night, natural hat trick, as a matter of fact. And he's close to 698 goals. Wayne's at 894, all-time number 1. Now, I've said many times, this is why I asked you, Nick, how old your kids are. My daughters have long said, do you wish that we were boys? And I would say all along, and I said, no, because you will have boyfriends, you will have husbands, they will become my sons. We're now there. So my daughter's boyfriend the other day is like, do you think Ovi will catch Wayne? And I'm like, no! How dare you even bring that up? And then he gets the numbers out. I'm calculating it. He's got to average 50 goals basically over the next 4 years. Just average it.
Yeah, I even played a little.
That's a lot.
I played because he's over 200, right?
Yeah.
A little over 200. And I played that in terms of, okay, let's just set a more reasonable expectation. He's 34 years old. Of 40 goals. That means he's got to be 39 years old and still pot 40 if he keeps up that pace. Tough to do.
But there's no reason to think that he won't.
But there's no reason to think that he won't. First of all, there's no reason to think he won't play till he's 44. And there's no reason to think that, he won't be able to do it. Look at the pace he's on now. 3 hat tricks in the last 6 games.
He's on the most torrid pace he's ever been on.
He's got 14 goals in the last 7 games. Like, he's been,
So I've known to be a little impulsive, and I might have sworn at the kid on Saturday night when we were watching hockey in Canada. I'm like, shut your mouth! Catch Wayne! Maybe it's just because he's Russian. I don't really care for Russians. Maybe that. I don't really like Ovi. I'm not a big fan of Russians. I would hate to see Wayne's record fall. But if Ovi does it, how can you take anything away from him?
You can't.
Why are you just blowing into the microphone?
Can you imagine he's 39, 40 years old and he needs 45 goals in a season. He's going to be on the ice with every empty net. He's going to be on the ice, every power play. But it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be much, must-see TV.
For the next 4 years.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
We're getting hung up on point 4, and that's fine. Todd Holt, my good friend Holty, Swift Current Broncos star, writing in. Good morning, Rod. Loving your show. Congrats, buddy. Thank you, Holty. Love you, too. He's watching from, I would assume, Calgary, where he's working in the oil field out there. It's going crazy on here. Our social media consultant, Todd Dacu, says, Clark, get Nick Saban on. The viewers demand it. All these Alabama viewers. You guys all seem so surprised. I didn't. Huge CFL fans down there. Huge. So the question on the poll for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is, will Ovi catch Wayne? Holding my nose as I vote yes. Changed my mind. To point 5, Tom Brady's future. To the guy that said here yesterday that TSN's trying to be like ESPN. If they are, I don't see it. I say it all the time. I watch ESPN every morning. This morning they got Adam Schefter on there, and the boys are like, Shefty, what's the latest on Tom Brady? And he goes, guys, I hear that there are 3 NFL teams preparing massive offers to sign Tom Brady if he gets to free agency. Vegas being one, Chargers being the other, and the third unidentified. Could you imagine Tom Brady in Las Vegas? First season with the Raiders.
I can't imagine him knowing any of them.
Chucky and Tom would be the next Belichick Brady.
Yeah, but they've got weapons, so I can understand it.
The Raiders?
They got some good receivers. They got a really good tight end. We've seen, I watched them play. Their offensive line is young, but very promising. It's just, there's some question marks on defense. And,
money talks.
How would him and Gruden get along?
Probably great.
Probably pretty well.
I could see how they would be fighting with each other to see who's first into the building in the morning.
Yeah.
That's what I could see. So I want to get Nick's take on that. See, Chris Clark from the unofficial Pats podcast writes, and he says, Saban would be awesome. Yes, he would. And here's the thing. We now have the data. We could go to the Crimson Tide PR people and go, see? Number 6 and 7 of our viewership's in Alabama. We have the data. Luke Mullender, by the way, whom I was talking to last night, my longtime color guy, was recruited to Michigan State by Nick Saban. And he tells a hell of a story. And Nick would appreciate this. He would agree with it, I'm sure, that all the staffers recruited Nick, and at the last minute, they brought Luke into Nick Saban's office as the closer. Nick was the closer. And he literally was like this, spinning around in his chair. I know that doesn't do much for the listeners, but he was like, I haven't watched cartoons for a long time, but you know the villain that spins around in his chair? Yeah. That was Nick Saban. And it was literally like, are you going to sign or not? And just the ways, and he's only like 5'6".
Yeah.
I'm sure the desk was elevated very high and it got Luke to sign. So we have the data. I want to say hi to Laura. She's checking in from Winnipeg. She is in the office staff of EMJ Marketing. She handles our speaking appearances, her and Joe Brokentoe. Good morning, Laura. Hope you're enjoying Winnipeg. Point 6, the XFL. Oliver Luck this morning was on ESPN Live talking about this season that's going to kick off this weekend. And the quote that I wrote down, will have nothing in common with the old XFL. That's from the commissioner, Oliver Luck, Andrew's dad, former NFLer. So all that goofy stuff that was going on, which we still watched anyways in 2001, will have nothing in common. They're far more serious. And they asked what rule innovation Oliver Luck is the most interested in. It's the exact thing I said here on Monday, the conversion of touchdowns. Yeah. 1, 2, and 3-point converts in the XFL. So you could be down 9 points with a minute to go and conceivably tie the game.
That's cool. And people say it's not football. Well, that will become their football. So it'll be 9 instead of 8, or 8 instead of 7. I like it. I think it's going to be interesting. I think some of the rules, the overtime rules, they'll have the little shootout back and forth. That's going to be exciting. You won't see the gimmick stuff, which, if you remember, it seems like just eons ago. Instead of the coin toss, they do a lay down and fight for the football. That's
not
the football
happening
in the middle. It's just like, let's run at each other, and the first person to just
You're going to be watching this weekend, I would think. But here's the whole thing about perspective and the media and how pro or con it can be. I'm going to be watching for curiosity, and we are all watching back in 2001. Part of the reason was we had friends in the league. Paul McCallum scored the first ever points in the XFL 2001, a field goal for Las Vegas. I was watching at the farm. But I'll be watching this weekend out of curiosity, and we'll see where it goes. Oliver Luck and ESPN, frankly, doing a great job of selling it. Then I open my phone, and I see Twitter as I get out of the shower at the gym, and it says, Vince McMahon prepared to lose $350 million on the XFL in year 1. I'm like, why do you got to be so negative? Because when people read that, they're going to think, why would I watch it? It's a money loser right out of the gate. Am I right?
No, I know. You hope that's McMahon being like, look at it. It's going to cost $350 million to operate this league. Let's just say. So if we don't make a dime, I'm still okay dropping this down for the year. You hope that that's the approach he's taking. That, it doesn't matter what it costs. I'm going to make sure this thing goes. At least for the next, 3 years or, 4 years or 5 years or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, wait and see. I'm really interested to see what the TV numbers and the attendance numbers look like on the weekend.
Joe Lazito writes in, watching from Long Island. He says, Rod, can we take a moment and wish the great Don Cherry a happy birthday? Well, you just did. Happy birthday, Grapes. There's the bobblehead here on the desk. 86 today, right, Joe? I believe. If you're following any of what Don Cherry's doing, of which I follow him on Twitter, follow him on everything, he's happier than a pig in slop. He's taping his podcast at his kitchen table. His family's around, and he's having a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Don Cherry's doing just fine. Troy Koser writes in, hey, Roddy, thanks for keeping me busy while waiting for my CT scan. Awesome show as always. Good luck, Troy. And be strong. I saw him in the media room at the Pats game on the weekend. You got this. This is nothing for you. A good question, let's mark this down later in the week, Clark and you, is will you watch the XFL? I'd be interested on that.
Yep.
It's a check for me. You?
Me too. Yep, it'll be a check for me. I'll find a place to watch it Saturday in Saskatoon. I don't know if it'll be on in the sports bars or not, but I'll find a place. If I have to watch it on my phone, I'll do that.
Like, I'm not planning my life around it.
No.
If it's on, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm going to see. I'll seek it out on Saturday. If I'll try and remember and flip it on.
I had my PVR set to tape the Alliance League last year. And call me a complete loser if you want. You wouldn't be the first. I enjoyed watching it. But I'm going to the Rush game Saturday. You're going to the Rush game Saturday. We're all going to the Rush game Saturday. So if that's on at the same time as the Rush, I won't be watching. But I'll set the PVR, and ESPN and the football people are getting behind this, and I just see some people want to pee on the parade, and I'm like, why do you got to be that way? I would just say to you, viewers, don't let what you read on Twitter sway you whether you're going to tune it in or not, right? Form your own opinion is my point. And people have been asking who we're going to cheer for. We're going to cheer for Tampa Bay because of Mark Trestman, Jamie Elizondo. Who else is there, Nick?
Billy Parker.
Billy Parker's and the coach in the secondary. The Alouettes, great. So I'll be cheering for Tampa Bay. And point 7, the last one on the Magnificent 7 show topics today is that, is there even any point of doing a CFL free agency show next Tuesday? Because we've been talking about it for quite some time of doing it. We're excited to do it. But I'm just wondering how many free agents are going to be left by next Tuesday on the board.
Feels a lot like the trade center deals on TSN. All the deals are happening in the days leading up, and then you're left holding the bag, right? And what do you do on the day? But yeah, the quarterbacks appear to be basically all off the market. At least the big names are.
Nichols isn't, but my guess is he'll be signed by Tuesday. We're talking a week.
Well, it's reported that he's, this morning, Dave Naylor had it that he's got the details finalizing in Toronto. So that's coming right down to the nitty gritty now to get that done with the Argonauts. So yeah, who's left in terms of quarterbacks? And that's where the intrigue is. But there is going to be, Clark points out 250 free agents or whatever it is. It's a lot of people, a lot of players. There will be a lot of signings. Still Willie Jefferson to figure out. There's still, Shaq Evans. There's still some big names to figure out. So there will still be some intrigue.
For sure.
And some analysis.
But it's 7 days away. And this was our meeting that we had after the show, because we always do post-game meetings too. We brought this up. Clark still wants to do it. So God bless him. And he's saying even if there isn't huge signings that day, we can still go to all these other markets and interview guys there in those markets. And I think that's a really good idea. And what the hell, I got nowhere else to go after noon anyways.
Yeah.
But we were talking about a big, splashy 4-hour special.
Maybe an extra 2.
Maybe an extra 2. And that's the day Wendell Clark's coming on, right? Yeah. We're very excited about that, as are the boys and girls at Wendell Clark's Classic Bar and Grill in Saskatoon. This is the Rollout for Flooring Superstores, a proud partner and sponsor and advertiser of the Rod Pedersen Show. Trent, glad to have you back. And I hope you got the fridge fixed. And thank you for your sponsorship of this program over at Flooring Superstores. Nick Lewis on the way, Jordan Eberle, Dave Naylor, and Devone Claybrooks. It's the Rod Pedersen Show on Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.